Hi, this is Paul from the Tamiya channel with my update on the Tamiya Leopard 2 A6, the body build switcher, and I won't say what he's building. You all know he's building the Canadian version of the same vehicle, with slight tweaks to mine. This is the free camo version, and hopefully I'm going to be finishing off the bits and pieces to the tank body this weekend and start getting ready for priming. What I have done is built the box on here. This is a photo edge part, and I've put that on there because I think it looks better in the actual kit part. I've started putting tools in. Now I'm going to go with the tools and their holders on the vehicle myself. That basically I'm going to put all the tools as they come in the kit. And I've used some photo etch bits and pieces from the Edward set, and I decided not to go with the other bits. I was going to, but I thought to myself, no, let's keep it a bit simplified compared to that, because I've got a lot of photo etch to do on me Tiger in 1/16 scale later on. So this is the body I've done, and you can see you've got a bit of photo etch there anyway around the front. You've got the bit round the actual driver's periscope, which adds a little bit more detail, and obviously the toolkit on the back. Also the handles, you've seen those before anyway. They was on the original, and I've also done the back a bit. I think you can just about see that. There you go. So you've seen that as well. So that's as far as I've got. But what I have done since the last time, I made a decision not to use the actual photo edge grills. Why? Because the Tamiya have done such a great job. Also, when I noticed the actual rim around the actual Leopards A6s I've seen on the haven't got any extra detail around them, which they're showing in the photo edge set. And I've noticed a lot of them have just got the solid rim round it. So I've stayed with the kit part. The detail is exquisite inside where the fans are. Now they moulded it, I don't know, but you can see there the detail is really good. So I've stuck with that. So that's the body part. So if I put that out to side one thing and bring the turret in, because that's gone further since your last gets you. Here we go. I think you're just going to get it all in one go. There's the actual turret now. You can see the actual baskets in place, and if I get my little pointy stick, which I've shrunk down, so I'm going to have to use a blue brush, which I think should be okay. No, I'll use a different one. There you go. I'll use one with a gold tip. The baskets on the back, which you can see here, I've actually done a photo etch. I did it slightly different to Switcher. He did a lovely video on how he did his. What I did is I actually, because the photo etch from Edward was so thin, I actually glued the part on one side of this bit around his one piece. I glued the one end, which was this end, onto the corner, and then bent it around and glued along the side and let it dry each time. And then when it was dry, went to the next bit, and that's how I got all my side basket bits on. And I'm really pleased with the way they come out. I think it looks really nice. The gun barrel is the one piece, the same as Switcher. I didn't have any issues with actually putting it in place. This is actually push fit. It was so tight I didn't put no glue on it, and all this bit on the barrel, all these bits here, that's glued, and that's glued. But other than this, and the ring, sorry, everything else was, this bit was all tight fit. Even the one that's like this underneath inside, which I might be able to show you underneath. There you go. I think you can see it. There you go. That was so tight again. I actually used I think it was a 0.6mm drill to actually go into this and that one to take a little lip that was on the centre. Switcher used a file on his. I didn't. I decided not to do that. I actually I took it like that actually. He actually used a file, but I actually used a drill and went through, and it was still a tight fit. But I'm really pleased, and I'm really pleased how that worked out. I've actually got the wire on the actual drum there. To be quite honest, I'm tempted to put some things in there later on to actually cover it all up. So you might not see that, but it's actually got wire on it. And I'm sorry, Sergeant Bones, you know you said it was double core wire, but I decided rather than muck about that, I'll just put some stuff around to give me the impression of it, and then I'm going to put some other bits of material and stuff sitting over the top of it anyway, so possibly it was a waste of time. But I'm still happy. I've done a little bit on that, but I've got other Leopards to build, and I will try and do the 2-wire system that Sergeant Bones said about. Here is the smoke. I've just turned it slightly. The smoke bits and pieces on both sides. The attachment is 8 on both sides. I've actually got those cleaned up in little dishes here. If I bring them out now, they're little dishes. Both got. Let's get that out there. There you go. Sorry about this. There you go. And there's the other set for 8 per side. They're going to have photo etch wires on. I've actually got the wires over there ready to start cutting to actually put on these before I put them on there, because I'm going to have the fine photo etch wires, because I think that will add something to it as well. So I'm going to be doing that. I've also done some cables. the cables using the kit parts. There they are, made up, very pliable, and they should look really nice. Now I said I might not use the actual 2 tool clips for the tools that go on the back of the tank, because you don't see much of them anyway, but I am going to use the clasps that come to hold this in place on the back of the tank's body, so I will be using some clasps for these bits, for the actual cables. All my other bits, the only other bits have got to be on the vehicle actually, are actually in this little bolt dish here. Oops, let's move that out over there a little bit. Oh yeah, and basically it's a rear cam, it's all cleaned up, ready to go. That's all cleaned up. I've got the aerial mast, the machine gun bits to do, the mirrors for the front of the vehicle. They're all basically done. These have got to be cleaned up. They've been done already. So I've got some clean up to do now. I've also cleaned these up, ready to go. That's good. These, the actual side skirts on both sides, all been cleaned up, ready to go. So they're ready for painting and priming as well. Obviously they won't go on to near the end, because obviously I've got to get the tracks on. So been quite busy there. The doghouse, as we call it on an M1, and there she is, and she's actually not built because I've got to put the actual bit of filament. Oops, got to put a bit of filament in there, so I've actually got that loose, but it slots on there nicely, and be able to do that. And that goes into that position, as you can guess. So that's there, sitting on that bit of road there. Also, one thing that I've done is the tracks. I'll pull that out of the way, and I'm going to move those all over out of the way now. So that I'm going to put that back into there. There's my tracks, and here they come. One set. And 2. Another set. They're the tracks. Now, I don't know if that's going to be very focused, but you can see what I mean. They've actually been painted. I used Tamiya's extra fine primer on it. I actually glued the tracks together. I might as well say that with Tamiya extra thin. Grew really perfect, because these are the actual kit tracks. Then I actually primed them and then I got a sanding stick, a really rough one, and I'll show you the one I used. This sanding stick here, really rough and coarse, and I run over all the pads all the way around before I glued the tracks together, so they was actually a bit rough. And then once I'd done that, then I actually glued them together, let them dry overnight to get that cement to really good time to prime, and then I put them onto these little helping hands, and I think you might be able to see that. Helping hands. They never look as good on the screen as what they do in real life. And then what I did is I painted them with that extra thin primer. Left that to dry for about 2 hours. And then I went in with Tamiya's dark iron paint, which I know Switcher's a great a lover of that particular paint. I painted all over the actual tracks again in that particular colour. And then what I did then is I went into AK's rust primer wash. And all I did then is wash, after it had dried overnight, washed it with the primer, and that gave it like a rustic effect to the vehicle, a dark reddish look about it. And then what I did then is I waited for it all to dry again. Then I went back in with AK's interactive light dust wash again, a very fine wash, and I washed over all the tracks. Now that gave it that look you can see now, and it's all laying in between. I can see it lovely laying in between all the pads and all the way around, even on the insides there. And once that had dried, and then I went over then with Vallejo's dark rubber. It's like a worn rubber look, and then I went all over the pads with those with a brush, and I used a nice square brush, a bit similar to this one, and I just filled the brush, not this one because it's got the old razored edge, and just went over the pads all the way around so they was actually done. And then I left that to dry, and then what I did is went in with some Vallejo's again, oily steel colour, and dry brushed, and I mean dry brushed very lightly, and just drudged all over the edges on the side of the tracks. You can see there with that bit of sort of metally glint. And then on the inside, I don't know if it's going to show, I did the inside as so I've got to try and get this, I'll take them off, and on the inside I did it like that. Now you don't know if you can see that very good, but you can see that's where you see the join is. That's going to be at the top of the tank anyway. There she is, and it looks good. And I also done the teeth as well. Obviously, give them a bit of an oily wash, or an oily stain of that. But just dry brushing then. And to be quite honest, I think I've done a better job of that than what I did on my Abrams. But then again, you learn all the time, and you get the effect you nearly want. I'm not a great lover of really heavily rusted tracks, because I think, especially on a modern vehicle, because you just don't see it. And even on World War II vehicles, they would have been rusty, but not to the degree some people do them, but that's again, it's down to personal choice. Like I said before, I'm not a great lover of rust. I do like rust on vehicles if it warrants it, and I will rust an exhaust pipe up if it really needs it as well. But anyway, so that's as far as I've got now, so you can see what I mean by that, and I'll bring that turret back in. There we go. And I think, as you can see, the track looks nice, and I'm getting there very slowly with the vehicle. I'm not a fast builder. I only put about 2 hours a day in, and unless I've got half hour extra, if it's raining outside, I'll do a little bit more. So done. But I'm really happy how things are going. I'm going to be finishing off so the back of the vehicle, and then starting undercoating. All the road wheels you haven't seen, because I've got 4 road wheels on the lower chassis, just so it sits there. I will say something I did do. I've seen some other people do it and all, but I've actually, oops, there you go, that was clever, wasn't it? I've dropped my hatch off, doesn't matter. I've actually reinforced underneath, you can see, with sprue to stop it bending in the places where it's got straight. So now I think that's really helped, because now when I sit there and it sits into the body pretty much straight away, really nice and flush. Once you get it lined up, of course. There you go, and it fits in there snug as a bug in a bug. Once you can get the line, you've got to get the front lined up. There you go. Once you've got, and it's back in again, and it's going to hold it that bit better and give it a bit of strength inside. Better pick those 2 bits up before we break them. There you go. So I'll put those inside the body for now. So as you can see, that's where I've got to so far, and I'm pretty happy with the way things are going, and hopefully there'll be another update sometime next week. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much. Happy modelling. Oh, one thing I forgot to add. Basically, no, I won't do that because they're not going to work. So I won't do it. I was going to say something silly then. So thank you very much again, and happy modelling. Bye.